Well, welcome back, everyone, to my 1949 OOTP 26 season replay. It's been a while since I've been online, but I had some time to play a game, and so I thought I would move forward with it. So, thank you for joining me this afternoon as we showcase the New York Yankees and the St. Louis Browns. So, I'm going to go ahead and play the game since I've already got this screen called up. We'll move forward with that, and then at the end of this, I will summarize the current standings in my replay, which is the reverse of what I normally do. So here are the lineups today for the New York Yankees who come into this game, and I don't believe they show the records here of what the teams are, so I don't have that handy. But here's the lineup for the visiting New York Yankees. Jerry Coleman will lead off and play second base. Phil Rizzuto will bat second and play short. Hank Bauer will play right field and hit third. Joe DiMaggio will bat cleanup and play center field. Billy Johnson will play third base hitting fifth. Johnny Lindell will be in left field hitting sixth. Fenton Mole, who I have never heard of, he is a first baseman. He is batting seventh. I want to look him up real quick, if I may, because I do not recognize that name at all. And I have a pretty good familiarity with old time baseball, but he is a player who had 30 plate appearances during the 1949 season for the Yankees and had a minor league career which lasted about seasons, all in their system, mostly playing at the AAA level, according to Baseball Reference. So Fenton Mole will be the first baseman today, hitting seventh. Charlie Silvera, a backup catcher, will bat eighth. And Tommy Byrne, who comes into this game with a 16-5 record and a 2.94 ERA, will bat ninth. For St. Louis, Bob Dillinger will lead off and play third base. Stan Spence will play left field, hitting second. Jerry Pretty will be at second base, hitting third. Roy Sievers will bat cleanup and play center field. Les Moss will catch and hit fifth. Jack Graham will be at first base, hitting sixth. Dick Kokos will be in right field and batting seventh. John Sullivan will be the shortstop hitting eighth, and on the mound for the Browns will be Bill Kennedy. Kennedy comes into this game with a 6-5 record and a 4.58 ERA. So it's 76 degrees at Sportsman's Park for this game with the wind blowing out to right field. This is a replay game for September. And I didn't bring that screen up earlier, but I'll show that to everyone later on. So we're underway from Sportsman's Park in St. Louis, and Jerry Coleman is going to lead it off. Coleman is hitting 250, one homer, 35 runs batted in. So we're underway, and Coleman hits a ground ball down to third. Dillinger over with it, makes the play for out number one. Here's Phil Rizzuto. Rizzuto hitting 304 in the season, no homers, but 45 runs batted in. From the right side, Rizzuto lifts one to left, but that ball is going to be caught by Stan Spence for the second out. So here's Hank Bauer, one of Hank Bauer's early seasons in the major leagues. He's hitting 254. He has 15 homers, 40 runs batted in, a right-handed hitter, winding the pitch from Kennedy, and he retires Hank Bauer on a call third strike. So nothing doing for the Yankees in the top of the first. So the Browns are going to come up to bat with Bob Dillinger to lead it off, followed by Stan Spence and Jerry Pretty. Dillinger is hitting 338 with 2 homers and 43 runs batted in. Right-handed hitter to face the left-hander Tommy Byrne. Byrne leads the league in wins with 16, and Dillinger drills one to left field, hits the left field wall. Lindell over for it. He gets the ball back in, but Bob Dillinger is going to slide head first into third with a triple. So runner on third, early trouble for the Yankees and Tommy Byrne. Nobody out for Stan Spence. Spence hitting .220 and playing left field today. He has 9 homers, 38 runs batted in. He was acquired earlier in the year from the Red Sox for Al Zarilla. Left-handed hitter Spence, and Spence takes a ball pitch inside for ball 4, so he's going to trot down to first. So the Browns have runners on the corners with nobody out for Jerry Pretty. Pretty is hitting .282 with 5 homers and 52 runs batted in. First and third. Pretty lifts one to right. Bauer is back for it, makes the play. But a run is going to score very easily, so Dillinger scores the run on a sac fly, and it's 1-0 St. Louis for Roy Sievers. Sievers is hitting .291 with 8 homers and 55 runs batted in. Of course, he will have a long career later on in the major leagues with the Senators and the White Sox. So here's Sievers. 1 on, 1 out, and Sievers drills one into center of field. DiMaggio is up with it, and Sievers is going to stop at second with a double. That's his 20th double of the year. Stan Spence is going to move to third, and the Browns have another threat here with runners at second and third and 1 out to face Les Moss. Moss, 300 on the season, 13 homers, 59 runs batted in. I actually saw Les Moss manage in the AA Texas League after he retired. So here's Les Moss. 2 on, 1 out. Wind by Byrne in the pitch. Moss pops one, and that ball is going to be caught at second base by Jerry Coleman on the outfield grass for the second out. So last chance here for the Browns to get a run in with Jack Graham up. Graham, the first baseman, 17 homers on the season, 71 runs batted in at .244. So here's Graham to face Byrne. Byrne trying to get out of it with very little damage, and Graham knocks it down to first base. Mole is up with it. He tosses it over to Byrne covering, and the Browns come up with only 1 run and leave 2 men on, so they lead it 1-0. So the top of the second, we have Joe DiMaggio up. DiMaggio, 9 homers and 48 runs batting in, hitting .304. He has 25 extra base hits this year, and DiMaggio hits one. That looked like a ground ball. I guess that was an infield hit deep into the grass. I did not view that correctly, but that's a long infield single for Joe DiMaggio. So Joe is on first with nobody out for Billy Johnson. Johnson, .230 on the season, 4 homers, 34 runs batted in, playing third base today. Johnson, straight away, center field. Sievers up with it, makes the play for the first out. Johnny Lindell, left fielder today, hitting .247, 5 homers, 30 runs batted in. Lindell takes a ball inside, and he will advance to first with DiMaggio running to second. So now we have Fenton Mole, a late season roster replacement. As I said earlier, he only had 30 plate appearances that season in 1949 for the Yankees. Fold hits a line drive to left, and the ball is thrown back in by Stan Spence, and there are now 2 out for the backup catcher Charlie Silvera. Silvera catching today in place of Berra. He's hitting .182 with no homers and 11 runs batted in. Silvera with a chance to tie this game up, and he hits a ball down to second to Jerry Pretty, Pretty over to Graham for the third out, and the Yankees come up empty, leaving 2 men on. We move to the bottom of the second. Browns up 1-0. Here's Dick Kokos, the right fielder. Kokos hitting .268 with 15 homers, 62 runs batted in. From the left side of the plate, Kokos hits one down to Coleman. Coleman up with it over the mole, and that's the first out. So here's John Sullivan, the shortstop. .225 for Sullivan. No homers, 14 runs batted in. Hits one past Mole at first base for a base hit that goes into right field. Bauer up with it, gets the ball back in, and John Sullivan is on first base for Bill Kennedy, the pitcher. Kennedy at the plate, 156 average with 1 run batted in. Kennedy, fly ball, right field, somewhat well hit, but Bauer is up with it to make the play for the second out. And the top of the order up is Dillinger. Dillinger 1 for 1 on the day. He's now hitting .339. So Dillinger grounds one down to Rizzuto, and Rizzuto is going to go over to the second for the fourth out, and they leave nobody on. So St. Louis is still up 1-0, and we move to the top of the third, and that'll bring up Tommy Byrne, the pitcher. Byrne hitting .171 on the season with 4 runs batted in. Here's Kennedy. Winding the pitch, and Byrne is going to get a clean single to center field. Sievers is up with it, and Byrne is going to reach first base and is the leadoff man on for Coleman. Coleman 0 for 1 today. Byrne at first, nobody out, and Coleman hits one. It's stabbed by Sullivan, but he could not come up with it. Sullivan dove for it, but could not make the play, and that's going to get credited as a single. So now the Yankees have 2 on with nobody out for Phil Rizzuto. Rizzuto 0 for 1 on the day, average holding at .304. Here's Phil, and Rizzuto hits it down to Pretty, over to Sullivan, over to Graham. That's a 4-6-3 double play. And that will leave Tommy Byrne at third with 2 outs for Hank Bauer. Bauer 0 for 1. Right-handed batter, winding the pitch, and he swings and misses for a call for a third strike. And the Yankees leave a man on, and we move to the bottom of the third with St. Louis up 1-0. So here's Stan Spence playing left field. Spence walked his first time up. Left-handed batter, wind in the pitch, and that's another walk for Stan Spence. So he gets on base for the second time today, and is down at first for Jerry Pretty. Pretty also walked his first time. Oh, sacrifice fly, excuse me. Pretty had the sacrifice fly in this game and knocked in the run to right on a hit to right field. So there's Pretty, and Pretty takes a call third strike for the first out. And here's Roy Sievers. Sievers hitting .293 now. He's 1 for 1 on the day. Runner on first, 1 out. Sievers wind pitches. Seaver drills one over the .379 sign at Sportsman's Park, and a 2-run homer for Roy Sievers. And St. Louis now leads at 3-0. Roy Sievers, 9th homer on the year, RBIs 56 and 57, and all of a sudden it's 3-0 Browns. So here's Les Moss. Moss 0 for 1 on the day. Wind in the pitch, and Moss hits it to center field, and DiMaggio is under it to make the play for the second out. For Jack Graham, the first baseman, Graham 0 for 1 today. Left-handed hitter, Byrne pitches, and Graham hits a fly ball to right, but Bauer is going to camp under that one and make the play for the third out. So a 2-run homer by Roy Sievers here in the third inning, and the Browns are up 3-0. So we move to the top of the fourth. DiMaggio to lead it off, followed by Johnson and Lindell. Here's DiMaggio, 1 for 1 on the day. Right-handed hitter, and that ball is going to be hit to the shortstop, John Sullivan, who backs up behind second base in the outfield grass for the first out. Here's Billy Johnson. Johnson is 0 for 1. Winding the pitch. Johnson is going to get a clean single to center. Sievers is going to come up with it on one hop. It's the ball back in. So Johnson is on base with his first hit of the day. And only the fourth hit for the Yankees. So here's Lindell. Lindell walked his last time up. Right-handed hitter. Lindell. That's a pop-up. And that ball will be caught by Jerry Pretty over near first base for the second out of the inning. And here's Fenton Mole, 0 for 1 on the day. Mole is going to get a base hit. So he laces one into center field, picked up by Sievers. And Mole has his first hit of this 1949 replay season. Here's Charlie Silvera. Silvera is 0 for 1. 2 outs, 2 on for Silvera. And Silvera is going to wave at it for a strikeout. That is Bill Kennedy's third strikeout on the day. And we move now to the bottom of the fourth with the Browns up 3-0. Dick Cocos to lead it off. He'll be followed by John Sullivan and then the pitcher Kennedy. So here's Cocos. He swings and misses for out number 1. John Sullivan 1 for 1 on the day. Right-handed hitter. Winding the pitch. That ball is 0 to right, but Bauer is under it to make the play for the second out. And here's Kennedy. Kennedy hitless his first time up. Left-handed hitter. And that ball is popped up as well. And it is going to be caught in the on-deck circle by the third baseman, Billy Johnson, for the third out. So we're going to move to the top of the fifth. Browns still lead it 3-0. Kennedy is cruising. Here's Tommy Byrne coming up for the Yankees. He got a hit his last time up. 1 for 1. Byrne hits a low ground ball down to Pretty. Pretty over to Graham for the first out. And here's Jerry Coleman. Coleman now is 1 for 2 on the day. Winding the pitch. And Coleman is going to get one right past Sullivan for a base hit. A little bleeder right through there. And Coleman has his second hit of the day. I had the privilege of meeting Jerry Coleman many years ago in Houston, which is a very, very great story. Worth telling maybe sometime. So here's Phil Rizzuto. Rizzuto 0 for 2 on the day. Coleman down at first with 1 out. Winding the pitch. Rizzuto ground ball through under Sullivan for another hit. And Pretty is going to go to third because Sievers could not come up with it. So that is going to be an error on Roy Sievers as the ball got through. And Rizzuto moves down to second base. And we have now second and third with 1 out for Hank Bauer. Bauer is 0 for 2 on the day. Here's a chance for the Yankees to get back in this game. Kennedy in a little bit of trouble because of the error. Here's Bauer. And Bauer goes down swinging. That's a big out for the Browns against the Yankees. So here's DiMaggio. Joe is 1 for 2 on the day. Let's see if they pitch to him. And they do pitch to him. And this ball is going to be hit to Sullivan. And Sullivan's going to go all the way over to first to Jack Graham. And that's a 6-3 ground out. And the Yankees strand 2. And we move to the bottom of the fifth with the Browns still leading 3-0. Bob Dillinger, the leadoff hitter, up. 1 for 2 on the day. Byrne with 66 pitches in the book, and he just walked Bob Dillinger. So Dillinger is now going to be down at first. And here stands Spence. Spence has 2 walks on the day. On base twice. So here's Byrne to face Stan Spence. And Spence bunts it back to the mound. Byrne over to first to Fenton Mole. And Spence gets the runner down to second for 1 out. And Jerry Pretty now up. Pretty is 0 for 1 with sac fly RBI. Here's Pretty. Winding the pitch, and that ball is going to go right into left field over the third baseman's head for a base hit. And Dillinger is going to stop at third. So now the Browns have runners at first and third with 1 out for Roy Sievers. Sievers is 2 for 2 on the day with a 2-run homer to his credit. So here's Byrne trying to bear down and get this out. Roy Sievers up, and Sievers swings and misses. Byrne blows it by him for the second out. So here's Les Moss. Moss hitless today, 0-for-2. First and third, Moss is going to hit one into left field for a base hit. Lindell up with it. Runner going to move down to third as the throw comes in, and Les Moss gets his 60th RBI of the season. And the St. Louis Browns are now up 4-2-0. Moss is third on the team in RBIs with 60. So here is Jack Graham. Graham looking for his first hit. He's got runners on the corners with 2 out. So here's Graham. Fly ball, right field, but that's going to go right to Bauer for the third out. But the Browns pick up another run, and they now lead it 4-0 as we move to the top of the sixth for Billy Johnson to be followed by Johnny Lindell and Fenton Mole. So here's Billy Johnson. Johnson 1-for-2, and he gets a walk this time, so Johnson's going to move down to first. And here's Johnny Lindell. Lindell 0-for-1 officially on the day. Wind in the pitch and swing and a miss. Kennedy gets his 5th strikeout of the game. And here's the rookie Fenton Mole. Mole is 1-for-2 on the day. Wind in the pitch, and Mole walks. So runners at first and second now with 1 man out for the 8th place hitter, Charlie Silvera. Silvera is 0-for-2 on the day. Cliff Fannin is now pitching for the Browns. So Kennedy has been listed here in the 6th inning. So it's Cliff Fannin now up. Fannin is 4-12 with a 7.82 earned run average. So we'll see how this plays out. We also have a defensive replacement on the double switch. Whitey Platt is now playing first base. He will bat 9th. And Cliff Fannin moves into the 6th spot for the Browns. So those are the changes. So Whitey Platt down at first. Cliff Fannin on the mound. 1 out. 2 on for the Yankees. And here's Silvera, winding the pitch by Fannin, and Fannin hits it to short, over to second, over to first. He gets the 6-4-3 double play, and the Yankees come up empty-handed. So we move to the bottom of the 6th with Dick Kokos up to be followed by Sullivan and then Platt. So Tommy Byrne is still out there. He has thrown 84 pitches in this game. Here's Kokos, 0-for-2. On the day. Wind and a pitch, swing and a miss. Kokos is out for 1 out. John Sullivan, the shortstop, up. He's 1-for-2 on the day. And he hits one down to Mole. Mole runs it over to first base for the second out. And here's Whitey Platt, came in on the double switch. Platt's hitting .218. He has 2 homers and 16 runs batted in. Right-handed hitter. Platt is going to get a clean single to left. Lindell moves over to the left field line to field it. And he gets the ball back in. And that ball is going to go in. That's going to score as a double. That throw didn't come in very quickly. And Whitey Platt is down at second now with a double. So a runner in scoring position for Bob Dillinger. Byrne is still out there. Dillinger is 1-for-2 on the day. So Dillinger hits one, popped up behind the mound, and Rizzuto moves in for it to make the play for the third out. So the Browns go down in the 6th, and we move to the 7th. Byrne is going to bat for himself here in the 7th inning. Byrne drills one to left field. That's going to bounce in front of Spence. And Tommy Byrne gets his 2nd hit of the day. So Tommy Byrne, down 4-0 in this game, is going 2-for-3. And he gets a hit off of Cliff Fannin. So Fannin to face Coleman with 1 out. I'm sorry, nobody out. Byrne at first. Here's Coleman. Winding the pitch, and he gets it by Coleman. Swing and a miss for his first strikeout of the day. Here's Phil Rizzuto. Rizzuto 1-for-3 on the day. And Rizzuto pops it up. And that ball will be fielded by Jack Graham, with the pitcher Fannin running over to cover. And they did not get the pickoff. So that's 2 outs now for the Yankees. And we're going to have a pinch hitter. Gene Woodling is going to bat for Hank Bauer. Woodling is hitting .262 with 7 homers and 43 runs batted in. So Bauer comes out. Woodling is now batting left-handed hitter to face the right-hander Cliff Fannin. Here's Woodling pitch, and that ball's hit to right, but Kokos is going to field that one for the 3rd out. So Woodling will replace Bauer in right field as defensively, and then the rest of the lineup will, of course, stay the same for the Yankees. So Stan Spence is now going to come up in the bottom of the 7th. Spence has no official plate appearances today. He has walked every time up. So here is Spence. Wine in the pitch, and he finally gets a bat on the ball, and that ball is going to go through for a base hit, so he is perfect on the day. 1 for 1 for Spence, and he is down now at first base for Jerry Pretty. Pretty is 1 for 2. Byrne is still out there. He's thrown 104 pitches thus far. So here's Jerry Pretty, the former Yankee, facing his old teammates, and Pretty takes a ball outside. Ball 4. So let's see whether anything happens. Nope, Byrne is still out there. Roy Sievers is up. Sievers 2 for 3 with a homer and 2 RBIs, having a great day at the plate. Here's Sievers, and he's going to get a pop-up, and that ball is going to be fielded by the second baseman Coleman, just to the right of second base with the first out. And here's Les Moss. Moss 1 for 3 on the day with an RBI. He is now hitting an even 300. So here's Byrne to face Moss, and Moss hits it straight away center field, but DiMaggio is under it to make the play for the second out. And so with 2 outs and 2 on, Cliff Fannin is going to bat for himself. Fannin with a decent numbers at the plate, .263 average with 2 RBIs. So here's Fannin with a chance to get another run, but Fannin swings and misses strike 3. 2 left on for the Browns as we move to the top of the 8th. And Fannin is now out there to face Joe DiMaggio, followed by Billy Johnson and Johnny Lindell. DiMaggio 1 for 3 on the day. Fannin, Wine, and the pitch, and DiMaggio drills it to right, down the right field. Coco's up with it, and DiMaggio is going to slide into second base with a double. So that's his 10th double of the season. So Joe DiMaggio is down at second with nobody out, and we're going to have a pinch hitter here. Bobby Brown is going to bat for Billy Johnson. So Bobby Brown in there. He is hitting .359 this season with 5 homers and 38 runs batted in. Left-handed hitter. He has a .908 OPS, which is very good. So here's Brown, left-handed hitter, to face Cliff Fannin with a runner at second and nobody out. Fly ball, left field, but Spence is under and is going to make the play for the first out. So Brown flies out to left. DiMaggio stays at second. Here's Lindell. Lindell is 0 for 2 on the day. Fannin's still out there, and Lindell is going to hit one in the right field for a base hit. Coco's up with it. And a throw home as DiMaggio tries to score is unsuccessful, and the Yankees get their first run of the game here in the 8th inning. They now have 10 hits to the Browns' 8, and they are down 4-1, and Johnny Lindell is down at first. So here's Mole. They're going to let him hit. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Surprised they didn't bring Hendrick up. So here's down ball to Pretty. Pretty runs it over to shortstop to Sullivan to get the force out for the second out. And here's Silvera. He's going to bat for himself. He is 0 for 3. So Fannin's still out there trying to get out of it. Silvera, ground ball to Dillinger. Dillinger over to first with the throw. And that retires the side. Right, Yankees pick up a run. It's now 4-1. So we move to the bottom of the 8th with Dick Kokos up. He is 0 for 3 on the day. Tommy Byrne is still out there. He's thrown 120 pitches for the Yanks. So here's Kokos from the left side of the plate, and he hits one down to third base to Bobby Brown, who took over defensively for Billy Johnson, and they get the first man out. So here's John Sullivan, the shortstop. Sullivan 1 for 3 on the day. Wind in the pitch by Tommy Byrne. Ground ball down to Rizzuto. Rizzuto over the mole for the second out. And here's the first baseman, Whitey Platt came in as a defensive replacement for Jack Graham. He is 1 for 1 on the day. Came in on the double switch. Here's Platt, and Platt is just going to just pop this one up and moles over behind first base near the line and makes the play for the third out. So the Browns with a 3-run lead going into the ninth. And we're going to have a pinch hitter. The veteran Charlie Keller is going to come up to pitch hit for Tommy Byrne. Keller with limited at-bats this season. He's hitting .216 with a homer, 8 runs batted in. Longtime left fielder for the Yanks. Here's Keller winding the pit, and they walk him. So Keller is going to go down to first. He still has decent speed, and they'll leave him in at first base. So here's Coleman. Coleman 2 for 4, and Fannin is still out there. He's thrown 44 pitches so far in this game. Coleman hits it to right, but Kokos is under it for the play. 1 out. Kokos actually throws it down to first to Whitey Platt. Try to catch that runner off base, but he doesn't have any success in doing that. So here's Rizzuto. Phil for the day, 1 for 4. Runner at first, 1 out. Rizzuto, fly ball left. Stan Spence under it, makes the play for the second out. He throws all the way over down to first without any success. So with 2 outs and a runner on, Gene Woodling is the last chance here for the Yankees in the ninth. Woodling came in as a pinch hitter, 0 for 1 on the day, and took over in right field for Hank Bauer. So here's the wind and the pitch, and Cliff Fanning gets the last out of the game on a strikeout of Gene Woodling, and the Browns upset the New York Yankees 4-1 at Sportsman's Park. So here are your totals. St. Louis scores 4 runs on 8 hits, 1 error. They left 8 men on base. The Yankees held to 1 run on 10 hits. They made no errors. They left 11 men on base. Bill Kennedy gets the win. He's now 7-5, with Cliff Fannin getting his 3rd save of the year. Tommy Byrne goes the distance and is now 16-6. Player of the game is Bill Kennedy. Homers in the game, only 1. Roy Sievers hit a 2-run homer off of Tommy Byrne in the 3rd inning to put the Browns out in front 3-0 at the time. So that's going to do it for this game. I'll take you back to the standings and give you a flavor of where everything is right now before I sign off. So the Yankees lose a game in the standings today with this loss. They now are 6.5 games behind Detroit. They are 4.5 games behind second place Boston, and they are tied with the Indians at 6.5 games out. Of course, the Browns are in last place and are mathematically eliminated. In the National League, you see that the Giants are 6 games back of the Dodgers, with the Cardinals close behind, 6.5 games back. So I hope everyone enjoyed today's game, and I'll be back soon with another replay. And that game, by the way, was a replay of a game played on September the 1st, 1949. So thanks, everyone, for joining me, and I'll see you next time. So long for now.